25% of executives were hoping people quit when creating the return to office policies. But telework and remote work is still alive, even though it's been decreasing over the last 12 months. This is creating a little bit of tension between coworkers. Remote work and telework is not always distributed equally. So you can have one person sitting in the cubicle and they know their coworker's doing the exact same job, but they're in their pajamas at the house. So a little resentment starts to creep in. Whether you're at the house or you're at the office, one thing has been increasing, and it's this idea of productivity theater. So the realization is it's more important to look like you're being productive than to actually be productive. So what does this mean? This means that you keep the green icon on when you're on Teams, or you're wiggling your mouse and you're keeping your computer screen on, even though you're not actively doing any work. So you could be watching Netflix over here or playing a video game, and just periodically you'll touch the keyboard. So it makes it seem like you're doing work. There's even a feature on Microsoft Outlook where it'll send periodic emails. So it'll look like to your supervisor and maybe to your coworkers that you're sending out emails every hour, but you have them all preset ready to go throughout the day. So you're not really doing much of anything. And roughly a third of workers are using that schedule send email feature in Microsoft Outlook. Most people think that this is just going on if you're working at the house, and if you bring them back into the office, this won't happen anymore. But that's not true. 79% of in-office employees and 88% of remote workers say they use performative tactics at work. The distractions in the office, this means socializing, doing laps around the office, asking people, what'd you do last weekend? What about next weekend? So not much work is actually getting done. The result is employees are doing real work 6 out of the 8-hour day. Some managers think that if they have a poor performer or somebody that's just going through the motions, if they force them back into the office, that will cause them to quit. So they'll be able to get rid of a poor performer and then rehire for a better performer. Interestingly, 32% of managers admitted that their main goal for return to office policies is to track employees. It's not to build the team or to improve the work culture. It's there because there's not trust within the employee. So then we have to go ahead and use micromanaging techniques. But the demand, the appeal, the allure of 100% remote work, it's still alive and well. People want it now more than ever. The phrase entry-level remote work has increased by over 300% in Google search since 2021. But the amount of remote work positions across the country, that has decreased from the 2022 highs. Many people, including myself, believe that the future is remote work at a certain point. It's better for the company, they're saving money. It's better for the employee. That's what they want. That's what makes them happier, more productive if you keep them with an at-home environment where they're maximizing their time, where they don't have to worry about the commute, they don't have to worry about car maintenance. And even the federal government understands this. The federal government was doing 100% remote work a year ago. Any given day, you could find 600 or more positions. Now that's scaled back a little bit. It's between 200 to 300 right now, but they're still out there. And the way the federal government does it, you have 100% remote work, and then you have telework. So telework means that you're only coming into the office maybe once or twice or 3 times a week, but the other days you could be at home. And then those days can also alternate. The 100% remote work means just that 100% of the time you don't have to step foot into the office. So in the government right now, you're comparing 200 to 300 with 100% remote work, and telework is really in the tens of thousands. There's a lot of opportunity there if you want to be able to work from home on a periodic basis. But make no mistake, a lot of people are applying for these type of positions. We talked about 200 to 300, 100% remote work. We have over 10,000 people trying to get those jobs. And Congress is kind of divided by it. There's even talk about we'll offer 100% remote work, but only for the highly talented individuals, the critical skill shortages, the AI and cybersecurity folks. Let's give them what they want. Everyone else, come on back to the cubicles. Then we have the increase in surveillance software being installed on work computers. And Congress would love for this to happen because they want to be able to measure productivity in a metric. They want to be given a metric. Show us how productive these federal employees actually are. The private sector has already taken this approach, and Wells Fargo actually just fired 6 people for pretending to work. They were calling them mouse jigglers. Overall, speaking from the perspective of a supervisor, when you have an organization, usually you have your top performers, top 10%, and then you have your bottom 10%, and then you have everyone in the middle, the 80%. So the bottom 10%, these are the poor attitude, doesn't show up to work on time, always has negative things going on. You can't really trust them or rely upon them. They take a lot of time and they weigh the organization down. So yes, they're going to try to get rid of those people. But for everyone else, the 90%, they're going to try to keep it because everyone's adding some sort of value to the organization. They're propelling that organization towards its mission or towards its goal. So they're not going to be actively looking to fire people that are doing their job. If you are worried about losing your job for some random petty reason like a personality disagreement or something like that, look at the public sector. That's where you're going to find true stability and security in a federal government job. There's over 2 million federal government employees right now. Not only do they have the stability and security, they have a pension, they have a TSP, they have benefits. So you could take your skills and experience that you currently have in the private sector and go ahead and make the jump, make the transition to the public sector. I usually speak to people once they've been laid off or the notice comes in or their contract is not renewed. And then the government's their plan B. And now it's time to take action towards plan B. And we usually get them there without any issues. But the thing is, if you think ahead of time and you realize this is something that you want to pursue, you can take steps now. And you don't have to take a pay cut. There's this fallacy, this misconception that when you get into the federal government, you have to take this massive pay cut. That's not true, especially if you're in an area that has a large city, if you're next to a metropolitan area, or you're willing to move to one. You can even end up with a pay increase in a lot of situations. If you are interested in a federal government job, you probably have a lot of questions on your mind about the federal hiring process, about USAJobs.gov, or what government job best fits your situation. If you're interested in questions like that, I just did a live stream. I answered over a dozen questions. A lot of these questions, they could be on your mind. If you're interested in that, I want you to watch this video next. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please click like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.